녹음을 삼때 새 다처리 제 말에 딱 톡자에 생상계도 저 상계 나음이 니들이 따와 상이 리선나가다 차거리 이런 너무 생상계 거래 이 생상계는 제가 라족들이 다들이 방사들이 다도 죽어서 롱걸 강상계 그래서 사자집에 따와 타시되오나 이 죽어서 상계요래 들이대면은 바로 롱걸 상계요래 드리양들이 뺏어버리 차져버리 배강래들이 죽어서 상계시 받았다가 들이 갈건 나와서 말람다와 하고 말람되는 걸 체매 봐 차용을 대나 돈은 이래저래 딱지에 땅을 찍어 차대요. 갈디 나와는 말로 자사바 내나 야더니 산이 바도로 파랩더니 야지가 나와마서 요 말이 야지 갔던지 말람다고 양데 체도 참아 말람다고 차 차와래 그 바도를 뒤지니 이 세바는지 나시도 상탐마와 탐지데 다 나까리자도 같이 샤초 같이 샤초고 요 말이 대다 바깥들이 다다 무슨 제도 상첩들이네 배나 조르는 상조는 사자치 보는 나와지 요 말이 축가를 소리 들이 축가 남갔다 차오르들 어떤 또 다른 거는 곰들이 지금이 이 세바나지 자꾸 열면 나와지 요 말이 들이 깨름나 양 대바 탑대오나 들이 배나 랑기 단치를 까불라들이 낭치 톱순전 나와기 차야요래 그래서 당시 니 코보다는 참선이 하니구나 들이 깔람 말람 나람된 자꾸요래 지갑을 미기도 새 나와서 저기를 탐 인속을 가면들이 참아 탐 낭치 나와라 탐니 그리고 같이 좀 내게요래 체인비만마도라 양자리 나니 세송삼 대초거래 민속을 같이 막 착송심을 이 선부터 뺏고 요래지 대사님이 공들이고 로상아니 세송사 싸워서 자기 바깥 들이지니까 냠이 잘때리 그러다 니 세마 다들 이람람 시키 타고 요래 대지 선들이 봐도 롱거로 상비하요래
So, Dhamma friends, I just spoke before about that the Vajrayana path is the swift path. Swift because we have an opportunity to attain enlightenment in a single lifetime. And what is enlightenment? It is not necessarily that you start flying in the sky and become like a rainbow light and perform all kinds of miracles. And we can find miraculous stories like that in the secret life story of the Buddha. But even that is just an outer perception, actually. Enlightenment actually is, it is said that the mind that from which nothing is to be purified, and the mind to which nothing is to be added, in itself naturally is the Buddha. The mind itself is the Buddha. So whenever all dualistic thought grasping is cleared away, then that mind is that state of Buddhahood. So first it is the mind that needs to attain enlightenment. And now when we die and leave this illusory body behind, one may attain enlightenment in the Bardo, either in the Dharmakaya or in the Sambhogakaya nature. If one has perfected the view of Mahamudra, for example, one may attain enlightenment in the Dharmakaya state, in the first Bardo. Or if not, then there is an opportunity to attain enlightenment in the second Bardo as a Sambhogakaya. So how it is that, for example, now when how the state of enlightenment in the Dharmakaya in the first Bardo is attained. It is when the perceptions that you have in the waking state, when you are awake, those perceptions, when you realize that the waking state perceptions are not separate from the perceptions that you have when you dream at night. That is the realization to be gained. And there really is no difference between these two states of mind. If you really reflect upon it, they are one and the same. So you might consider the waking state in the daytime as your life, and you believe that I might live for about 100 or so years. But then later, after you have died and you have come to the Bardo, you will look back to this life just like it was the dream of a single night. So this life completely fades away just like it was last night's dream, like just a very short time. And the perception is like the Bardo is the real life, that you wake up into the real life and last night's dream was last life. And then you wake up in the Bardo and some realize that they have died and some do not realize that they have died. And then if you have practiced the generation and completion stages, there is an opportunity to attain enlightenment in the Bardo. So in the Bardo, when you have perfected the view of Mahamudra and you dissolve into the state of the Dharmakaya, then no appearance actually manifests, nothing else manifests. Upon death, you dissolve with this state, you merge with this state of Dharmakaya. And then there's just the space-like state of Dharmakaya. For example, when you're alive and you have realized the view and are devoid of all dualistic thought, and you remain within that state, it is just like you're waking up from a sleep at that time after death when you merge with the Dharmakaya. It is just like you're completely awake and there is no other Bardo appearance. So that is if you have attained stability, particularly in the completion stage. If you have attained stability in the visualization, the generation stage, now when we die, we go through a process of dissolution in 3 stages. So it is that first there is appearance, then there is increase, and then there is attainment. And these are basically 3 levels of dissolution, which are also referred to as whiteness, redness, and blackness. And actually, even before we die, when we fall asleep, often when we fall into a light sleep, we also recognize those 3 levels of dissolution. And so then it dissolves, whiteness into redness into blackness, and then you fall into a deep sleep state. So it begins with consciousness dissolving into appearance and so forth. And then you sleep, and if the karma for this life is not yet exhausted, you wake up again the next morning. And then you might feel, I have slept. And some people who have a very deep sleep don't even think about that. And when they die, then they just confused and wonder what has happened to me. So we can see how it is when we see how it is when we wake up in this life too. So those who have some practice will immediately upon awakening have a clear mind and recognize, I have slept, now I'm awake. And it is this state, this in-between state of when you just wake up, that is where we find the crucial point, the root of practice. And therefore, it is a crucial point to instantly, upon awakening, habituate, train the mind in remembering the Yidam deity, for example. And if you're able to do that, then you have an opportunity to attain enlightenment in the Bardo as a Sambhogakaya.
그래서 남이 요담에 제발 강해지는 네가 바시를 봐도 남시들라 점을르지 네가 멘트 바래 점을르나 되니들라 다치발 가래 나고 줄이다 마다바 줄이지 요래지 남이는 다지니에 줄이들라 나고 줄이지 가래 다송 다지니 다송 다지니 다송은 우고당 심하면들이 저 롱코지 롱코지는 다다죠 나마답지 생긴 거 고아tam잖아 오 생긴 생명 가슴이 ጭ바래 생지 돌님도 사티 하고 저들이 유모 탑이랑 이 셔트고 라망자고 요래 오 대마시 다지 니디 팀보 때는 유모 받지는 라속 유모 왕정이나 다 마다 베줄이 강마다는 다 지지 로데 다 우보던 치마 대바다 다 인양네 접대요 이렇게 당나라 정냐와 샤는 거다 니몽도 소소 로아토고 라오데 샤르들이 무슨 동에 용주요 봐 얘는 좀이는 문제도 공부지니 좀니티 메라 박차서 나오냐면 데르티니 소와 누시 누지 남시 디제트 다 요래 때 동에 다 따는지 다다를 카차와 그간에 유모가 뒤라서 그래 샤용 요래 유모가 박차지 가래서 좋고요 썸못한 거예요 박차 가래서 다다치도 롭가는 롭동 같이 들때다 쟁이도가 오 내가 지금 너가 가래서 동기는 박차지 뒤 롭동 박차지 야전 다 세들 고치 가래지 박차지 rangi kholo yore sentila o chengamse par ta kholo gore ti bakcha de shamle ti tata chada monso le katre dogen na ban san jongo yore ti mada be julu ti ti upotan simale nawa ta domele ti mi son su de ka cha so ti chawadi ti mada be julu ti da ji din ti mada be julu ti cha ngone da ko julu da ji ni di ta sona lo ju zo go o 이제 사촉sem라더니 사촉sem 나바지는데 다 진지게 다 대진항매 인지메 같아라 들라지 사촉sem지라지 들이 삼제그라지 탐제 삼제그로 봐 차서 들이 처마 도고 들이 다 삼제그라지 차나 들이 잡아 도고라고 차들이 들이 생각은 나와 답지 셔나 들이 생각 답지 삼제그라지 생각을 듣고 요래서 별로 사제 탐제 들이 까보만 보라 사촉sem 지 말함했다고 지금 감담들 되려고 요래시 대다고 하고 뭐 땅이 답어줄이다 마다 줄이 이반 잘알아 이 동네 용이 좋아 대체 뭐를 들이 대회들이 다다다 나지 잡고 탑을 맞으면 들이 바지 줄이들 동네 요와 들이 대마지 기와스마디 박차지 양자를 conna는 거고 요래 레산 거고 요래 답을 줄이더라 다디다다데 다음에는 하나씩 요런 말에 그 사촉sem을 나서 이제 사촉sem을 제시해 봐라. 다 답을 드려야 다도 셈다 쏘지 그 사촉sem을 쏘들 제야요 말에. 오 도지창을 사지 도지를 철기와미 봐 파샤와미 봐지. 오 제 사촉sem을 쏘리 코바발 다지 니지 쏘는 딘 주제레티 다도 답을 쏘요 하나지. 아기는 파시요리. 소tin düzeyletin 생각나서 생각 자세를 때다가 다른 거를 생다 쏘고 제발지나 대다가 쏘고다면 들이다 사지에 까들 다이 시절에 들이다 도고라 다 돈다고 따와게 다 타지 여기 대 수자로 들이 돈다 따와 가지 토는 다 줘야 말이 별로 요미데 원만 따와는 들이다 우리지도 대리에 다 주고 다 줘야 말 고베다 다에 다 주고 돈다 대박을 다 주고 뭐도 대회를 대사되는 들이다다 오 답어줄이지 빼는 게임 공대나 사촉세고 이자체네 다다지 남라티네 람스 지네들 다 대들 라공고 말 아, 지네저 오바메 전들 람스 지네나 포사자고 많이 보여래 보라 람자들이 라이 거는 줄 sem코랑 라지데 라이메 이제 대식이 보고 사제가 세면베 대라 사촉세고 좀 계속 들이 사촉sem을 나서 들이 여담들 사 당니 들이 생각하는 완전히 들이 봐도 죽어다 로그지 숨레리 로그들 자송다 그랬더니 나카타 오도 나카타 라지사와 자송다 자친 사동성 적을 때 죽어 로그서를 들이 대답을 생각을 안 적라 자야요와 대 따와 딱지다는 것을 생명하는 딱지들 때 고통고 이거래. 대연들이 다고 딱지도 문이들이 제시장하나 제는 제시장하나 조는 딱지 답이 강 신자만 소리 양당 자만 소리 탑라. 들이 제시죠. 내가 장을 절대 제는 조는 좀 들이 당니 딱지 좀 제고 살아서 살지. 로드들이 제탁고 그러면 다들 다들라고 오늘 뱅크 살이 강에를 쫓다라고 그냥 피면서 시다가 나서 자도 동이도 대로 마보주고요. 내가 대로 용나야 차톡 속들이 좀 제일 지치고요. 여기 내가 어디 대통령이 설득고요. 대통령 용거리 대통령 설득을 좀 제일 지치고 오늘 그렇게 지고요.
And so now, what we just explained, when we put that into practice and see now how does this actually apply to our own mind. Now when we come into the Bardo, there is the Bardo consciousness, and that is, we say, an illusory form. And the form of the deity is also an illusory form. So in being an illusory form, they are the same. However, one is a pure illusory form and one is an impure illusory form. A person who has practiced and freed themselves from self-grasping, has practiced the deity, accomplishes the pure illusory form of the deity. And what is it pure of? It is free of the dualistic grasping at self and other. That is the nature of the Dharmakaya. The Dharmakaya realizes that appearances are one's own mind. So that is the realization that arises when we accomplish the deity, and along with that one realizes that by nature all sentient beings are just like that. They are the deity by nature. And knowing that, even if due to a circumstance afflictions arise, such a practitioner will be able to let those afflictions go and be in control. The mind is free and will not be controlled by the afflictions. If not, and the afflictions arise, one will again engage in dualistic grasping and become controlled by the afflictions. So the impure illusory body is an illusory body like the form in the Bardo, but there still is a perception of a self, there are afflictive emotions, and there is, due to that, a belief in the true concrete existence of appearances and their characteristics. And then whichever of the afflictive emotion is predominant will lead to a further rebirth. For example, the hell beings are the natural manifestation of hatred, and so forth. The 6 realms of samsara are the natural manifestation of the 6 afflictive emotions. And once born there, one experiences actual suffering there. So in the Bardo, we have what is called the 4-named aggregate, which is the only aggregate that's missing is the aggregate of the body. But there still is something like a mental body formed by habitual imprints, the habitual thought of me, this I. And then there is the other 4 aggregates, feelings, perception, consciousness, karmic formation, all are still present. And because the physical aggregate is missing, the experience that one experiences, experience of suffering, is the same as when alive, just much more intense. Depending on whichever of the afflictive emotions is predominant, that will become manifest. So it is the imprints that we have formed that will manifest at that time, and they always manifest now too. It is just at that time they intensify. For example, when you go to school, many years ago you went to school, and whatever you have learned, you still remember the things that you have learned. So there's this imprint in your mind that still manifests. And whatever you have habituated to in this lifetime will naturally keep coming up. That's the habitual imprint. So it is in this in-between state between this and future life, the future life, that these imprints keep coming up in a just more intensified form. So whatever thoughts of attachment and aversion and so on you have habituated to, that will continue to manifest in a more intense form. And at that time, you have the impure illusory body that is still believing in the true existence of appearances. And then the suffering of the lower realms and so forth will become even more intense. So the impure illusory body is still clinging to the existence of a self, whereas the pure illusory body has completely purified all dualistic thought of self and other. So the pure illusory body is the Dharmakaya, and it has accomplished the twofold bodhicitta. All dualistic grasping is cleared away, there is no more fear. Its nature is bodhicitta, great love. For example, if you love everyone, then just naturally everyone will appear as a friend, and every place appears as a pure land. Just naturally. The Pure Land is a creation of love. All the Buddhas for many aeons have only habituated, accumulated bodhicitta, and through the power of their aspiration, they have created the various Pure Lands. So there's two kinds of illusory body. One is pure, one is impure, and in being illusory bodies, they are the same, but one suffers and one does not experience suffering. When one does not apply the method to separate oneself from self-grasping, if one does not make an effort in that, then after this life, one will bring these habitual imprints with one continuously. Whatever karma you have accumulated, it will go with you wherever the consciousness goes. And then it will ripen in any of the 6 realms. If you separate from the self, then there is no more ordinary rebirth. The nature of bodhicitta transcends birth and death. And that's the nature of the pure illusory form. And so again, this relates to this discussion from before, the difference between mind and the life force. The life force of bodhicitta cannot be interrupted. It is also referred to as the Buddha Vajradhara, whose nature is beyond birth and death. So the life force of the mind of bodhicitta cannot be interrupted or destroyed. But then the life force of an ordinary samsaric sentient being is based on a dualistic perception of self and other, and therefore everything is compounded and subject to disintegration. Whatever is born will die. So this is how the mind functions in terms of life force, that either will be destroyed or not. So if you really understand this view, you will come to a certainty and trust in the teachings of the Buddha. You decide upon the view of how things really are. And at this point, there is no more thought within the mind. And this is actually the view of the Madhyamaka, the middle way. The ultimate reality cannot said to be either existing nor non-existing. It is something that one can only gain certainty in naturally and through one's experience, but one cannot understand it by means of words and conventions. So this is not how we can resolve the view, the ultimate. And so now the pure illusory body arises on the basis of bodhicitta. And on the basis of bodhicitta, you practice any yidam deity, for example, Chenrezig or Amitabha. And once you have habituated to bodhicitta, actually, the deity just arises naturally. That is the nature of the deity. For example, in the context of Amitabha, you have habituated to the point where when you die, the consciousness will just naturally leave through the central channel through the crown of your head instantly. And without even having to think about it, you become the deity. And that is because your fundamental nature is already that. It is already the deity. It is Buddha nature. And it is accomplished, actualized, if you protect it with the sustaining of bodhicitta. And when that is sustained, then after death, you will gain control over the Pure Lands. Then in the Bardo, you actualize the union of the Dharmakaya and the Sambhogakaya. The Dharmakaya is the empty space-like essence of the mind, and the Sambhogakaya is the natural clarity appearing like a rainbow in the sky. And clarity and emptiness, or Dharmakaya and Sambhogakaya, are an innate union. And therefore, the deity is nothing but a natural manifestation of that innate union that is already your own mind. And so if you really reflect upon that, it is something that you can really understand. The generation stage, the visualization of the deity, is taught in order to purify the existence of ordinary birth. And the completion stage in order to purify the ordinary death. So we train the mind over and over again, we purify the mind over and over again by practicing the generation and completion stages. And we practice with diligence. And then when you really understand the significance, the purpose of why we practice generation stage and why we practice completion stage, then actually a wish to practice will arise within you. Then you will really want to do this practice. Otherwise, if you don't really see the significance of it, you might at times think that meditation is a beneficial thing to do, and you do meditate, but then the moment you encounter difficulties, for example, you get sick or you run into a problem, then immediately you let go of the practice and you feel that it's all useless, it all doesn't help. And then again, you are caught up in suffering and your difficulties. And this actually happens quite a lot of times. If you understand the significance, however, and even though you might encounter difficulties, you will see them just as a temporary occurrence, but you will still be firmly rooted in your trust in karma. And therefore, this trust will clear away all doubts in your mind. And doubts always arise momentarily, they will always arise. But a firm trust in karma should really clear away these doubts. So therefore, this is really most important.
One shiba shop tiboji tabi, data uli machula, rang around Torata, each of them all Sanji Compote race, the double race, Hako on the data of Tobla Tayo race. Tangmi Pardo, Tabodi Bateta or Hakona, like a tower on it in a rag around the history, like a tower around the chili, Tetic Sanji Latang match. Many young love the Allah, Tilia, go to San Choksen. Sabat Sevitra, Jula Cordula. Oh, Nakam Tori Divan, Tato Sanji, Combaja, Raga Chichi, Toyore. The Chichi Bolatata, Rangi, Shibani, Lelong one Mashola, Ishilong, Lelong, Chipper. Zara Julia Numo Bakari, Chilla Cap, the 시랍티가 하고니 뉴모보방도 맞춰 따이시길 놓게 따지라왕 토요에 다다야라왕은 바도리 자자자라왕 그랬지 내 맞춰서 따 뉴모보방도 소라 다 바도리 내놓은 짓을나 다 도와를 줄라 다 참기요래 배대들 대다다들이 다다송지 따고리마도 조간직 뒤송을 손을 오 따라 사제님부터 또선 제스 다다 스마 바도선 찌그레시 라마다나 시사제선 찌그레시 대다와 하고는 오 다다는 데 상제래 셉데 대다 남심사지 세조라마 대다를 한 이거 차요 원래 들이 대다는 들이 저들이 다가 라긴 야메디 라라라가 속라 때네 대다는 야메는 들이 나바사지 그 탑사무상 하소 들이상하나 되니 대다를 체적 상제시 받을 상한 예람지가 동대 대지들이 다다 이 문함지 대들 그시 좋은 잘도 가지고 보거든 전통부 같이해서 드리도 공디 답사파지 드리셔서 말이셔
And so what happens when we have realized the meaning of this, what we just mentioned? There's this text by Dzogchen Rinpoche, the 3 words that strike the vital points that most of you might be familiar with. And in this teaching it says that one who enters such a path of practice may well attain enlightenment in this very lifetime. And then it says, but even if not, their mind will be happy, alala. That refers now to those who possess greater wisdom. If one with greater intelligence or wisdom enters such a path of practice, with firm trust, they can attain enlightenment in this very lifetime. And actually from that perspective, it can be realized rather easily. And so that means that they may attain enlightenment in the first or in the second bardo. Having realized the view, the natural state of the mind, and having gained confidence in that, they attain enlightenment in this lifetime, in the first or second bardo. But even if one doesn't attain enlightenment in this lifetime, one's mind will be happy, because one has cultivated relative bodhicitta, immeasurable love. And if you bring that with you after you have passed away, you will have the cause of the temporary birth in the higher realms and the ultimate enlightenment. And you can be 100% confident in that. So we speak about 2 kinds of winds that after we die. One is the karmic winds and one is the wisdom winds. And so what is the difference between the karmic winds, the winds of karma, and the winds of wisdom? It is actually one consciousness. But whichever wind we will follow is something you can see already now when you're alive. When an afflictive emotion arises or you encounter any kind of difficulty, whatever arises, if you recognize it with clear awareness and you do not become controlled by whatever arises, then you have gained control over the wisdom winds. And then with 100% certainty, you will also have such freedom in the bardo. And on the other hand, now, if the 6 afflictive emotions arise and you become controlled by those afflictions, then you have become controlled by the karmic winds. And then also in the bardo, these winds will bring you to take birth anywhere in the 6 realms of samsara. So whatever is the case for yourself is something you can see for yourself while you're still alive. Lord Chikten Sumgön also had said to someone who has realized the view of Mahamudra, this life, all future lives, and the bardo are one. The mind of the Guru, the Buddha, and one's own mind are one. when you realize that this mind right now is the Buddha's mind. And there is no other Buddha's mind. And once you have realized that from within yourself, then that will naturally become reflected in your outer activities. So basically, you are advised to practice according to your own capacity from wherever you are at. Now, the path of the Vajrayana is an extremely profound, skillful method to attain enlightenment in just a single lifetime, and that is why it is referred to as the swift path. And so now in the end, we will recite dedication prayers. We have a brand new prayer book, which says the papers are so new, I'm opening it for the first time. They're still sticking together. And so we will, for the first time, read those dedication prayers today.
We're on page 11 in the prayer book. By this merit may I attain omniscience. Having defeated the enemies, my wrongdoings, may I liberate all beings who are tossed in the ocean of samsara by the waves of birth, old age, sickness, and death. Whatever virtue sentient beings possess, whatever good they have done, will do, and are now, whatever goodness there may be, may it permeate all beings everywhere. By the virtue accumulated throughout the 3 times, by others and myself, may all beings filling the reaches of space enter the gateway of the unexiled path, and may they attain the Vajra holder's ground. By all the virtue actually performed and mentally created by myself and all sentient beings of the 3 times, may all beings of the 6 realms attain the 5 kayas, and realize the primordial wisdom of the Buddhas in the Dharmadhatu Mandala of the awakened mind. Glorious root Guru, precious one who sits upon the lotus at my heart, hold me with kindness and grant me all the accomplishments of enlightened body, speech, and mind. I pray for the excellent health of the Guru. I pray that he lives a supremely long life. I pray that his activities spread far and wide, and grant blessings that I may not be separated from my Guru. May the Buddha's teachings, the only source of benefit and happiness, endure long, and may the victory banner of longevity for those upholding the teachings be steadfast. May the sound of the great Dharma drum liberate all sentient beings from suffering. Please remain and teach the Dharma for infinite millions of kalpas. By the might of this powerful merit, may the aspirations of the benefactors and the circles be accomplished within this very life. May their obstacles be pacified. May everything be auspicious, and may their wishes be fulfilled according to the Dharma. Just as the hero Manjushri realized things as they are, and did Samantabhadra too, I will follow in their path and perfectly dedicate all of these virtues. As all such dedications have been praised as supreme by the victorious ones of the 3 times, I fully dedicate all my roots of virtue to excellent conduct. By the blessing of the Buddhas who attained the 3 kayas, by the blessing of the truth of the unchanging nature of reality, and by the blessing of the undivided Sangha community, may my prayers be fulfilled according to this dedication. By the virtues accumulated in the 3 times by myself and all beings in samsara and nirvana, and by the intrinsic root of virtue, may I and all sentient beings quickly attain unsurpassed, perfect, complete, and precious awakening. Great Vajradhara, Tilopa, Naropa, Marpa, Milarepa, Dhamma Lord Gampopa, Padma Drupa, and Lord Drigungpa. May the auspiciousness of all the Kagyu Lamas prevail. Glorious, holy, venerable, precious, kind root and lineage gurus, divine assembly of Yidams and assemblies of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, heroes and heroines, Yogini and her assembly of Dakinis, all of you dwelling in the 10 directions, please heed me. By the power of this vast root of virtue, may I benefit all beings through my body, speech, and mind. May the afflictions of attachment, hatred, ignorance, pride, and jealousy not arise in my mind. May thoughts of fame, reputation, respect, honor, and concern for this life not arise for even a moment. May my mind stream be moistened by loving kindness, compassion, and bodhicitta, and may I become a spiritual master with good qualities equal to the infinity of space. At the moment, the attainment of Mahamudra in this very life. At the moment of death, may I not experience the suffering of being abruptly severed from this life. May I not suffer a terrible death. May I not die confused by wrong views. May I not experience an untimely death. May I die joyfully and happily in the great luminosity of the mind itself and in the crystal clarity of Dharmata. May I, in any case, gain the supreme attainment of Mahamudra at the time of death or in the Bardo. For this realm encircled by snow-covered mountains, you are the source of all benefit and happiness. Tenzin Gyamso, Lord Chenrezig, may you remain steadfast until the end of samsara. Embodiment of the 3 jewels, great being who upholds and increases the teachings of the Shakya lion. Supreme are your activities of guiding others with your perfect deeds. May you, the precious Guru, who accomplishes everything spontaneously, live long. Holder of the teachings of Lord Drigungpa, the great Lord of 3 jewels, through the power of your peerless compassion and the holy Dharma's peace and light, you bring relief to beings. May your life be long. The one known in the Holy Land as Aryadeva, emanated into the Gar clan of eastern Tibet as Chodingpa, the heart son of Jigten Gunpo. May the life of the glorious Garchen remain steadfast for 100 aeons. Page 28. May the teachings of the great Drigungpa Ranashri, Master of Interdependence, omniscient Lord of Dharma, who has seen all the knowable things, be upheld until the end of cyclic existence, through study, practice, healing, contemplation, and meditation. Your 1,000 arms are the 1,000 wheel-turning kings. Your 1,000 eyes are the 1,000 Buddhas of this fortunate aeon. Your love is boundless like space. I supplicate to the Bodhisattva Chenrezig. Om Mani Padme Hum.
Oh Thank you. Namo Sankaya.
So, in a few minutes, please come in and have dinner with Rinpoche. There's a couple of announcements.
Okay. Alice. Which Alice?
So anyone who has a 6:30 interview with Drupal Rinpoche Dorje today, and you're in Group B for dinner, please eat in Group A. But I know your names, so